about concept or ideas. I call it the very flat Earth, but I'm kind of too hearted to see. Maybe I call it when the individual becomes as important as the government, or it becomes the government, or something like that, or radical democracy. I already had a video about it, but that's not what I'm trying to get at, or that's not really covering it, because I think that because of technological advances and also because of cryptocurrencies, encryption, uh, other factors that a lot of functions that many governments used to take care of, and like in the 60s or 50s, the the U.S. government was very important, or the Iranian government was very important, or the Saudis, or I don't know, Hitler was very important. But if we look down now and look at the stuff that an individual can do, I kind of makes me wonder if the role of the governments or the role they play in the world is not going to be even less important, less of value to anybody. Well, I want to use real familiar examples, like before in the 70s and 80s, like post office, like sending letters and stuff like that was really important. I used to send, my dad used to write letters, and it was an event. The letter had to go through the Iranian Postal Service and then come over here to U.S. Postal Service, and I get it. But these days, everybody in my family in Iran just about has email, and we are kind of debating whether we can send the YouTube. Well, we are using YouTube, but or send video as attachments for email, and well, that brings us to another concept, is that it used to be really important, like go on a trip. Like I when I went to see my dad in '78, to take time and get paperwork and passport under wrap and hop on a plane, and the plane cost a pretty penny, and I had to arrange for everything, and I come back and do this and that. But if we are seeing, if me and family are seeing each other via video, and now there's many ways of sending these videos over, like as YouTube postings, or as attachments, and that whole business of traveling and doing stuff, it becomes like a huge expense with little value. I think that's why the tourism has kind of died out, because you really don't need all this going and coming back. And I think that another reason that tourism is dying out is because it's become easier to find women, or women find men, because there's all these social media, there's all these crazy, even when a hurricane comes in, even turkey like me can fly. I have changed my last name from Mr. Duds to something else, to my old last name, because hey, even I'm doing some stuff. It can be called dating. So that's another reason like an important institution or function that you had to go through governments, like get passport, and also go through major companies to be able to go see these people and come back. And sometimes I had to give up my place because I had gone for 2 3 months and then come back and get a new place. It was a big event. It was like huge, but as the technological advances have grown, much less need much less need to go around, because also the internet, you can make phone calls, send emails, send videos, make posting, make your opinion known, and all this stuff. And I think it's kind of the need for tourism or actually going to the place is really diminished. Then if you're really nutty and you have to see, like, if sometimes I get the craving that I just have to see the streets of Tehran, or streets of Madrid, or there are like video cams, and you can just go and you'll see the people walking and talking, even by the coffee shop, whatever. I also get the newspapers of foreign newspapers that I used to read. Well, I think the U.S. government kind of props up these publications in English that are they support their own views and that. But if you know all the publications, like I know Etelat in Iran, I read Etelat on and off. I think the other one was Kayhan, and Kayhan was kicked out, and they went into London. They published something, but they are. I usually don't like opposition papers. I personally support the Iranian government, so so I didn't read Kayhan, but there is other publications that come and go. The other one that was really good was Jumhuri Islami, was another major publication, and I used to get that. I was looking for it the other day in the internet, but so if I wanted to actually go into Tehran and do all this stuff, and then gradually, technologically, I'm doing all this stuff, I don't have to shell out all this money, and because the U.S. government is constantly fighting with the Iranian government, sanctioning, and I could like go out of U.S. and then not be able to come back in because all these lunatic politicians have passed all these laws. So who needs them? Who needs to do all these major changes? Things might backfire, something might go wrong, the terrorists might get on the plane. Well, I could just cut them out, because all these functions and all these little things that I had to do, I can do it. And then on top of all of that, I could just, when I'm done, I just put the internet away and go to Starbucks and check out some pretty American women. So I'm just trying. I know you're getting the drift of what I'm trying to say, but I'm gonna like do one or two more examples and get on with it. Then also another thing that's happening is that because the Western governments like United States, Israel, or even Saudi Arabia or France, Britain, they have abused these relationships, the international relationships, the freedom to travel, and have created all this fear, and they went on military campaigns and ruined a few Muslim countries. But on top of all of that, they have created this atmosphere of, oh my God, everybody's after us, they want to kill us, and did that. And what do we do? and and put all this TSA everywhere. That they created this atmosphere, this ambiance of fear and checking stuff. Then when you cut them out, you're saving a lot of money. And also on top of all of that is that many foreign governments they know that this is going on, and militarily they are signing up with each other. For example, many Muslim countries like Iraq or Egypt or Iran or Afghanistan or Pakistan or southern former Soviet states, they're signing up with the Russians. If the Russians give them S-300, S-500, S-400, S-200, very good anti-air defense system, and they really don't need to go and buy F-15s and F-14s, because if you could shoot just about anything down, then why you need to buy very expensive fighter planes? You just buy one of these systems or a few of these systems, put it everywhere, and they'll take care of your problems. Then I think that what's going to happen is that the expenditure of different governments on military self-defense is going to drop dramatically. Well, I mean, the Americans, they're not going to stop spending zillions of dollars on offense, which is their military is geared towards ruining other countries. But I mean, smaller countries, they can like kind of relax and use these systems to have some kind of defense. I was looking at some of the reports with the attack on Syria, and out of the 105 Tomahawks that they had sent in, not all of them are Tomahawks, like 71, that's what I heard, were down. They were, that's a very good, very high percentage. And like, I don't know, I have to look at the calculator. 71 out of 105 is pretty close to 70% were intercepted and ruined. And then, but the people who did most of the interception, they were using a very old system like S-200. This basically was the Syrian military itself, and some of them were intercepted by the Russian military. They using S-300, but I was looking at the ideas that S-400 and S-500, they're extremely advanced systems, and they also integrate with other systems. Like if you have S-200 or S-300, you can buy a S-500 and it will integrate with or communicate with the other systems, and you can shoot down older missiles, and then for the newer ones you can use the S-300 or S-400 or S-500. And then I was hearing that with the S-500 you can shoot satellites down. So a government like Iran that doesn't like U.S. spy satellites, you can just shoot them down. That's a tremendous anti-air defense system. So when these come online, or when the Russian government starts selling them to many countries, then they kind of make a lot of air forces redundant. Then on top of that, the casualty because of Air Force personnel will drop. But that's something that has to do with the governments, or their defense expenditures will dramatically be reduced. And then they could do other things like surveillance or information gathering. And then I think that when the AI and drones become integrated, then getting rid of ISIS would become a lot easier. Well, anyhow, these are the military considerations, but then coming back to the individual, uh, it also relieves a lot of stress on part of a person. Like, for example, for me, one of the biggest worries was like this business, because family constantly complains that, hey, you're not coming and what is this, but if I could replace these major concerns and expenditures with these systems or communications which are very available, then that's a huge relief. Also, I don't have to sit here and think, hey, the United States is gonna nuke us or do something like they did to Syria, because there are systems there. There are anti-air defense systems that are very good, and they are also capable of retaliating. So, on an individual basis for expatriates, it just relieves me of a lot of concerns. I can pay attention to the stuff that on an individual level is valuable. For me, what's more valuable on the individual level is be able to have good relations with women, because my marriages failed, expand or date many women, or something that I totally missed out, and kind of aspect of life that was kind of ruined by many concerns for money and other stuff that was going on. Like I told you, concern for family back home, or it just the technology has relieved a lot of concerns and a lot of money and losses. Also, it was very sad that many people go on a tourism. In the past, there is all these terrorist activities, but a lot of them are false flags from U.S. or Israel or Saudi Arabia. Anyhow, I want to move on from this topic with this stuff. I know that some corporations are using like data centers or call centers outside of United States. For example, some fast food, if you go in and you're ordering at the drive-through, the people who take your order, they're not here in the United States. They're in India or other countries. So the order is transferred via electronics to the center, and they kind of take your order and give it to the kitchen via electronics, and then when you go in a few minutes later, you can pick it up. So basically, the communication it has become easier, and also people are able to do work for each other, like legal service or clerical service, and not have to be tied to this particular locality. Just like me, I'm not tied to Tehran itself. I don't have to go there physically. All the stuff that I want, I can one form or another get and be in touch and feel the ambience. Well, I mean the sci-fi part of it would be like a Star Trek Next Generation, where the computer will simulate everything for you. Well, I don't have it like that with the technology we have now, but we're getting close. If an individual can generate income, work, and also have that income or money siphoned away from regulatory banks or governments. They cannot fuck with it. They cannot publish all kinds of money and dilute the money that you have. Or if you go and buy shares in a company, and the shares are actually crypto tokens, and then you know the value will increase and it cannot be diluted or messed with. It's kind of like it's just like the functions of a government or the functions of a very wealthy investor, but it has come down to your level. Few dollars that you have, your shares will be because you're getting part of the added equity in the economy or in the company or in the cryptocurrencies without having to go fight all these bureaucracies. So I know this is a little bit of a complex idea, but if you don't have to go there and you're getting all the benefits, it's like you're becoming a government or becoming a major corporation or becoming a central bank. Because all the little functions that they do and they tax the fuck out of the people or cause all kinds of other problems, they're gradually, these functions are migrating to the individual, and it's really the individual that can decide what I can do. Okay, this is one example. I'm sure you can find more of them. The other thing is you can give money and show support for causes and ideas because you don't have to go through bureaucracies. For example, I give support or money to family, but it's done all through back channels. Hawala bypasses the banks and the governments, and so the money doesn't get squandered, and also I'm able to give money far away places. Same goes with the political or religious support or expression. Like my channel, I'm getting pretty far in the rankings. I'm able by a few dollars and a camera to do all these things. This is like a function that before only a major broadcast like NBC or CNN or the government, they bring their people out and make a statement, or a corporation. But I am able to do this and bring out, like a scholar can bring out ideas that are very complex without having to go through a hierarchy of a publishing company or a publishing agent or a newspaper that might reject these ideas. Some of my ideas are very funky, very strange. If I had to go through anybody, probably a lot of them will get rejected. In fact, I have gotten kicked out of many places. Well, let's not go into this subject. Well, I think I have come up with a few good examples where the individual is really becoming sovereign. The sovereign is me, is not somebody out there. And what is out there that was built up from the past is falling on its face because it was built for a past and it doesn't know what to do in a world that we actually live in. Alright. So my ideas and my videos are, a lot of them are research. Please subscribe and leave a comment. Thanks.